Fight Fiend Forecast. I'm Joseph, the host. And I'm back throwing jabs, ready to go after an off week. We're back for UFC Denver. Just a fight night in the mountains. And we're fired up, ready to go. Ready to keep the locks hot. I hit the last three. All three on the last event. Joe Pyfer, Peyton Talbot, Alex Potin Pereira. Gave it out on the Props and Parlay show. So tune in on the Props and Parlay show at the end of the week, Thursday or Friday night, Saturday morning, whenever you can get to it. Make sure you subscribe now if you have not yet. Like the video, because we're going to get down to business. We're not talking about last week. I had 3 picks wrong last week after having 3 picks correct the week before. So good turnaround. We got revenge. Now we're ready to go. We're not thinking about the past. We're not focusing on the future. We're ready to go. We're in the present where the mind is free. Ready to go. Ready to fiend a win. And we're starting it off with the first fight of the night. Let me get the tablet up front here so I can see. Maybe take the glasses off. Can see pretty clearly on this event. Josh Fremd is going to be fighting Andre Petroski, and this is a coin flip fight. Now, do any of you agree that this should not be a coin flip fight? We should know by now Andre Petroski is a better fighter, but on the feet he struggles. Josh Fremd isn't some guy that can get the big knockout shot. He's not going out there landing heavy blows on guys. So in this fight, I don't think he's getting the knockout on Petroski. Petroski should be able to not get knocked out while shooting for a takedown. He should be able to get a takedown, get control time, maybe get a submission. He's super dangerous there. He has a couple decision wins. He is a finisher, Andre Petroski. And in this fight, after losing 2, he's going to bounce back looking for a finish. He has 4 submissions, 4 knockouts. He can do either or. On the feet, we are aware he's not the best. It's Renzo Gracie Philly and the whole gym. They're not that great on the feet, but they're great grapplers. Josh Fremd, he has some holes in his game, and it comes on the ground. You seen it against Cedric Dumas. Barely got it done. He got the guillotine choke, but he almost got in a bad position there, but obviously Cedric Dumas is not the caliber of guy to get the finish in that kind of situation. You look at Anthony Hernandez, won that fight by unanimous decision. Anthony's a very good fighter. I'm surprised he didn't get the submission in that fight, but Tresean Gore, after the loss to Anthony Hernandez, look at Josh Fremd. He lost to Tresean Gore by a submission. Guillotine choke, second round. In this fight, I'm saying Petroski comes back after 2 losses, gets the submission win in the second round. First round, he's going to feel him out, get it going, not get knocked out. Second round, look for that finish. Third round, possibly get the finish. Hopefully it's the second round. I think that would be a wise prop in this fight. It's a wise play in my opinion. With that being said, though, Petroski does have 3 submissions in the very first round, and he has 1 submission in the third. Now, his loss, Jacob Malkoun, he was going for a takedown. The hip knocked him out, something like that. And then he lost to Mikael Pereira, punch, ground and pound. He got clobbered in that first round. So 2 tough fights, 2 tough losses. He beat Gerald Meerschaert by a split decision before those 2 losses, where I thought he was getting the finish, but he came out, got a decision win. Only has 2 of them. In this fight, I don't think he'll need a decision to get rid of Josh Fremd. At a 50-50 price tag, this doesn't really make sense to me. Fremd has 2 knockout losses. He got knocked out in his last fight to Roman Kopylov. We know Petroski is grappling heavy, though. That's his game plan. Grapple, grapple, grapple. So we got to look at that Tresean Gore loss. Guillotine choke. Josh Fremd should not be getting submitted to a guy that's 3-2, quite green. Tresean Gore is ripped and shredded, but you got to give credit to Petroski. He should be the better grappler. He should be the better fighter. So Petroski's money line is intriguing to parlay for me. It's a fair price, doesn't make sense, and I don't think Josh Fremd will get it done. So Petroski, coming off 2 losses, he's going to be hungry. He's going to avoid the knockout shot against a guy that has no power on the feet. He's going to get this one done by a decision if he can't get that submission in the second round. I'm calling it his first ever submission win in the second round. He has 3 in the very first round. His last submission was Anaconda in the first round to Nick Maximoff. So, he's probably going to come out there hot in the very first round and get it done. But I think he can last to the second. I'm not going to be attacking the round prop. I'd be attacking the submission prop for Andre Petroski. If anything, I know it's the first fight of the night. A lot of people are going to pass on this one, not look too deep, but Petroski off 2 losses, being the much better fighter. I feel like we're getting a gift right off the bat. I think we should play Petroski by a submission and get paid. And if he doesn't get the submission, he's definitely winning a decision. So 50-50, I think it's a great parlay piece. Ange Petroski. Next fight on the card, we're looking at Blackshear and Montel Jackson. This is a very good fight. This is a tough fight for both fighters, in my opinion. It's not favored for one guy. I thought it was. I was pretty high confidence on the side I was choosing to win. But if you look at, the last couple fights for both of these guys, they're fighting pretty good guys. Blackshear coming off a loss, Mario Batista, where he stepped in after fighting a week before that to Jose Johnson. Got the twister submission in that one. So that loss to Batista, he was competitive, and he was very good. So now with time to recover, have a training camp, he's probably going to be very competitive against Montel Jackson. So this is not an easy pick. I know I'm high confidence in it, but Blackshear has 6 losses. He lost to Farid Bashrat. Yeah, he's undefeated, but unanimous decision loss. Unanimous decision as well in his last one. Although it was competitive, it was still unanimous. The judges don't think it was that close. He had a draw as well to Yusuf Zalal, 10-5 at the time, majority decision. And I know Yusuf looked good in his last fight, but at the time, he wasn't doing that great. And, whatever. It was 2 years ago now. His most recent win, other than the twister, was to Luan Lacerda by knockout. And Lacerda is grappling heavy, looking for the submission. Is Blackshear fighting guys like Rani Yaha, Julio Arce, JP Buys, who was 9-3 at the time. Yeah, he didn't get the finish, Montel Jackson, but unanimous decision win. Beat a guy that was 9-3 at the time. Made it look easy. He hasn't been that active. Like, his last 4 wins were within the last 3 years. He's not that active. So I do think he's improving as well. We just see Blackshear improving in front of our eyes. We've seen him active. We've seen him enter at a pretty young age, 27 years old, and perform almost every couple months. And at this point, I can tell that Blackshear might not be at the caliber of Montel Jackson. Jackson is getting handed fights that are favored for him. Look at the last fight, Rani Yaha. He was handed a layup. He was a big favorite. In this fight, he's favored again. The books know he's the better fighter. I have to agree. This is not a pick that I'm going to overthink. I'm going to trust my instinct that Montel Jackson, as a favorite, is the better fighter, is going to get it done by a unanimous decision. Maybe a split decision, but he will get it done. And I'm not going to look to go too heavy on the money line. He's not a lock of the week. I respect Blackshear and how competitive he can make this fight. If it goes the distance, it can go either way with the judges, right? So, with that being said, I'm here to give my forecast, and I do think the favorite is the rightful favorite in this fight. I do think he is slightly the better fighter, and he should get his hand raised by a decision. He should not get the finish. We know he doesn't have the most finishing potential, which is going to make people try to go Blackshear with the finishing potential, seeing that twister choke, seeing that knockout to Luan Lacerda, but I got to trust my instinct on this one. Forecasters, you can agree, you can disagree, but we're going to move on to the next fight. We're not going to waste your time with these fights. You have your own opinion. If you agree with my pick, that's great. We're on the same side. We're going to try to attack these bookies. But some picks we can leave off. We can take the overs, we can take the unders, and we can still get paid together. So whatever side you're on, let's come to a conclusion that we're going to win together and crush these bookies. We got another favorite next that should win. Another Brazilian, Luana Santos versus Mariya Agapova. Now, Agapova, I heard she was a problem in the gym. She's not very easy to get along with. Now, on top of that, she has some addiction problems with, drugs and stuff like that. She's a beast. She's a beast to be reckoned with, and I don't believe her mind is set on fighting. She's a fiend. And not the fiend I want you to be. You know what I mean? She is a real fiend. And her mind is not focused on fighting. She lost her last 2 fights. She could be super aggressive, looking to get the win here. Finish the fight, get the bonus, get paid, pay off some debts, some dealers trying to... That's all jokes aside. She has to go out here and perform to the best of her ability against a tough girl, 7-1, who won her last 4 fights, and just beat Juliana Miller, the Ultimate Fighter champion, wasn't it, there? Knocked her out, and beat Stephanie Egger. Unanimous decision. Looked good on the feet, had good striking output and accuracy. Agapova, I cannot stress this enough. Do not trust this girl's striking. I took her as a pick before. Her striking is not good. You learn things as you go, okay? You live and you learn. That's life. Losses into lessons, okay? I had a loss on Agapova. Obviously, she lost her last 2. That Jillian Robertson submission loss. No way I was taking her in that fight, but Mariya Morose submitted her, and I had Agapova in that fight. Yeah, her striking isn't good. She can't compete on the feet. She's going to be going for takedowns, and Luana on the ground probably isn't that bad. She can stuff takedowns, get her own, have better control up against the fence, get this one done. 93% on Tapology have her to win. You can't overthink this one of any fight on this card. You want to take a women's underdog. They've been successful. The hit rate has been good the last couple months. This is not the one. And the next fight we're breaking down in Denver is my Canadian, Jasmine Jasudavicius, who's going to be praying and spraying here. I think she's the better fighter, 10-3, more experience. She's fighting Fatima. I think her name's Fatima Kline. Didn't look too much into her. I looked at her last couple fights. I know she's undefeated, but, judging by the level of competition, judging that her last opponent was 5'2", not even 125 pounds. The girl was like under 115 pounds. A small little girl, super light. She couldn't even finish her, did she? No, she couldn't finish her. The girl was 6-3, and she couldn't finish her. Beat her by a decision there. Yeah, CFC. Before that, she knocked out a girl that was 6-3 as well. What was her name? Sarah Kova. So, some big beast at CFC. 6-3. Before that, she beat a girl that was 1-0. Unanimous decision win there a year ago. And then she beat a girl that was 4-1. Another decision win. Knocked out a girl that was 2-0 2 years ago. So that's her last 5 fights. She's 6-0. She has not fought the level of competition that Jasmine Jasudavicius has. And I don't know why we're getting plus 100, plus 110 now for my Canadian. She just beat Priscilla Cachoeira by a submission 5 months ago, Darce choke. I thought she beat Tracy Cortez by a decision, but she lost that fight. Tracy Cortez on the main event is very good. She's very good. So, unanimous decision loss for Jasmine, but that was a very high-level opponent. Fatima here has never fought anyone like Tracy Cortez, let alone Priscilla Cachoeira or Miranda Maverick. Unanimous decision win for Jasmine there. Easy win. You can't forget about that fight. Gabriela Fernandez, who was 8-1 at the time, also lost a decision to Jasmine. So she's very good. Fatima Kline here is... she's green. She's 6-0. She's stepping up on short notice because Jasmine was supposed to fight... Who was it? Vivian Araujo. So she's getting a chance. She can probably last 15 minutes, but she is not going to win this fight. She should not be the favorite in this fight. I'm not even being biased. Like, I'm trying not to be biased. Jasmine Jasudavicius is my Canadian. Right? She's going to pray and spray. And she's going to defend for her country. But How am I getting plus 110? Dog of the week in Colorado. Jasmine Jasudavicius. Lock of the week. You know what? She's definitely the dog of the week. Simple plus 110 play. She could get the finish. She could be that much better than Fatima in this fight. Fatima doesn't stand a chance in this fight, in my opinion. I don't know why she's the favorite. I didn't watch too much tape, but I do know how to look at her last couple fights and look at her level of competition and look at what weight class it was in and look at the height, reach, size of her last opponent and be able to tell that she has not fought the level of competition as my Canadian. What's going on here? What's going on here? Stay hydrated, folks. That sun is hot. The locks are going to be hot. That dog better be barking, too. Alright. Back to business. Let's go. We got Joshua Van against Charles Johnson. Charles Johnson back in action, baby. And this guy won his last 2 fights. He lost 3 fights before that. He is the definition of a decision dominator. He loses every fight by a decision. His last 2 wins by a decision. As at Maxim, I don't know how he won that fight. Jake Hadley, really don't know how he won that fight. So he got the last 2 fights out of the way. In this fight, he should definitely fucking lose. I'm going Joshua Van. I'm going Joshua Van lock of the week. It might be a decision, but it's still a play where if he doesn't get the finish, he's definitely winning a decision. Charles Johnson is not winning again. So there's the lock of the week. 10-1. Joshua Van, who was supposed to fight Tagir Ulanbekov, gonna dominate. If it's a decision, take the money line. He's a favorite. He's coming off a win to a guy that's not UFC caliber, but he knocked him out. He did what he was supposed to do, ground and pound. He looked phenomenal. He's 22. He's going to be improving each and every fight. He's working hard. He won a fight that was super competitive against Kevin Borjas 7 months ago. He was tested. And that was a fight that, he got through the test. He managed to battle hard in that 3rd round. That's what we're going to need. We're going to need that heart, determination to get this win. And he has it. He's 22. He's going to continue to grow and improve his game from what I can see is already very good. He took Zhalgas Zumagulov to a split decision, but he's fighting guys with super high-level experience, with a ton of experience. So he's not that green, in my opinion, anymore. You could have made a statement that maybe he was a little bit green. He hasn't been tested, but I gotta say he has been tested. He's fought some guys with pretty big records, and he's passed every test. He fought a guy that was 7-1 a year ago in Fury FC, knocked him out. Now, a couple months later, 4 months later, he fought a guy that was 17-9, a ton of experience, and submitted him. Standing rear naked choke. So he has some tools in the bag to get the job done. I don't think he's going to be going grappling heavy. He's not going to be shooting desperate takedowns. Judging by his last fight on the feet, he's going to be fine. He's going to make it competitive, get the job done. He's going to land more, be more accurate, push forward, land the more devastating shots, more damage. Judges are going to love this kid. 22 years old, relentless, was supposed to be fighting a much higher caliber fighter, so he was definitely training for a higher caliber fight than what Charles Johnson is going to do. We all know what Charles Johnson's going to do, right? And I don't like that kind of game plan. He's not that entertaining. He doesn't do anything to go, ooh, wow, ah. It's like, oh my God, this is fucking boring. You want to go for a hoop? Like, that's what I'm thinking when I'm watching Charles fight. Like, it's not entertaining. He's usually getting grapple fucked and losing. You got to look at that Mohamed Mokaev fight. Ode Osborne, split decision. Cody Durden, unanimous decision loss. So, even Rafael Estevam beat him up on the feet. So, Charles We know, buddy. This is not a fight you can win. Lock of the week. If you don't agree after all that, if you just think I'm being biased, watch on Saturday and find out. Because I'm locking in Joshua Van, and I'm getting my forecasters paid. I'm here to do business. Absolutely free. Just subscribe, that's all that I ask. Doing a video each and every week, giving you my confident picks, my locks, my dogs. But like I said, end of the week, Friday night, I give out the locks, dogs, forecast of the week. We do a parlay, so you gotta watch each and every video. If I switch a pick from this video to that video, I'll let you know, and we'll talk about that fight that I change. Hopefully nothing changes. I have pretty high confidence on each and every pick. Other than 2, I'll let you know which fights those are on this card. But we're gonna get through it. We're gonna get paid. We're gonna have some fun. And we're gonna talk about Cody Brundage fighting next. In a fight that looks like a fight he could win against Abdul Razak Alhassan. Turning 39, is it a time that he just can't get it going? He has no more power left. I don't know. He has some fights that he comes out there and he looks phenomenal. He's not a guy that's easy to trust, in my opinion. Now he is the favorite, I believe, but he was opening as the dog. Cody Brundage, his last win was impressive, that knockout slam, but it was a little bit fluky. His win to Jacob Malkoon, where he got hit to the back of the head with an illegal elbow, if that wasn't fluky, then I don't know what is, okay? So he lost his last 4 fights. Other than that, Bo Nickel, Cedric Dumas, Rodolfo Vieira, Michael Olazechuk, finished in every one. Knocked out to Michael Olazechuk in the first round. And it wasn't pretty. His last performance, Bo Nickel, got him to the second round and then found the rear naked choke. Rodolfo Vieira took him to the second round as well. Got the arm triangle. But Cedric Dumas, he needed the judges' scorecards. I mean, Abdul Razak Alhassan at 39, I hope he does not go 15 minutes. I hope he doesn't need the judges' scorecards. He has more power in this fight, and he should be able to get the knockout. If he can't, it's a problem. His grappling isn't as good as Cody Brundage. That's where I'm thinking Cody Brundage could win. Abdul Razak Alhassan, he got submitted in his last fight to Joe Pyfer. That was a tough fight for him. Before that, he knocked out Claudio Ribeiro. He lost a split decision to Joaquin Buckley. So his level of competition is pretty good as well. Even though he's getting old, he's still looking pretty good. Like that win to Claudio Ribeiro wasn't that long ago. He's not aging that much. He still looks like a specimen. I gotta trust him one last time, with that being said. One last dance with Abdul Razak Alhassan. With the knockout. With the first round knockout, and here's why. He has 12 knockouts and 11 in the first round. His only second round knockout was to Claudio Ribeiro. Now look at Claudio's fights before the Abdul Razak Alhassan fight. He was on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fight win streak, all by KO, all but one in the first round. And he was a specimen, looking super dangerous. Razak Alhassan spoiled the party. Now, the level of competition, maybe not that great for Claudio Ribeiro, but still a tough test for Abdul Razak Alhassan. A fight that Abdul Razak Alhassan certainly showed up for. Now, he didn't show up for the Joe Pyfer fight. He was probably scared, a little bit timid. In this fight, I don't think he can even be a little bit timid of Cody Brundage. Now, is that going to be the difference? He's just not going to be scared of Cody? Cody is dangerous, but Zachary's, man, he was just a little bit inexperienced, got caught in a bad situation. I'm going to ignore that knockout slam. It was kind of a fluke. I think Abdul Razak Alhassan needs a win now. You know, he had way too many canceled fights. He had 6 canceled fights in the last 3 years. He needs a win coming off a loss. He's been loss, win, loss, win, loss. I mean, you tell me what he's due for. He's due for a W now, right? So that's what I'm seeing here. He's just flip-flopping. He's very inconsistent, but I got to think the trend will continue. He's due for the W. And we're going to go for it. Cody Brundage isn't that guy. At 10-6, he's not that guy. At 12-6, though, and 39, I don't know how I'm telling you Abdul Razak Alhassan's that guy, though. But when we see them face off, when we see them weigh in, hopefully that gives us a lot more confidence. Okay, because Abdul Razak Alhassan is yoked. He is in incredible shape for 39. He's 38. He's turning 39 very soon. He's probably not going to gas out in that first round. Let me tell you, he's going to go for it. And he can probably finish it. There's no doubt in my mind. But it's MMA. Cody Brundage, he beat Zach Reese, Jacob Malkoun, Trayshawn Gore. I never even had a little bit of faith in him in those fights, and he got it done, so I don't know. Cody Brundage is Cody Brundage. He just does what he does. I don't know if he's good. I don't know if he's a gatekeeper. I just don't know what Cody Brundage is. Okay? The UFC hands him fucking Bo Nickel, Cedric Dumas, Olazaychuk, Rodolfo Vieira, Jacob Malkoun, Zach Reese, Razak Alhassan. Like, he beat Zach Reese and Malkoun, guys that would be better than Dumas and Michael Olazaychuk, you would think. So he can beat guys that he shouldn't be able to beat. He's super hard to forecast, in my opinion. And every time you want him to win, he never wins. So, Cody is not a guy or a name I like to bet on. Cody Garbrandt, he's getting better, but Cody Stamen, look at that last fight. He stunk. So Cody Brundage in this fight, he's probably going to be a bowl of dog water. Abdul Razak Alhassan, looking at his Instagram, should show up, get that KO in the first round. Let's hope that prop is juicy. Kind of juicy like the next pick. Juicy J. Julian Erosa versus Christian Rodriguez. C-Rod, bro, he won his last 3 fights against guys that were undefeated, a little bit green. He was being a weight bully in 2 of them. His last one, I don't even know how the judges gave it to him unanimously. Isaac Dalgarian just wasn't a Russian. So biased. I don't know what he was doing or what contract he signed in the back to get credited with these wins over undefeated fighters, to build his name up, to make him at least half relevant, because I don't think he's that entertaining. I think him missing weight isn't acceptable, but no one gives a shit, really. Other than people that give a shit. Like me that try to make money, and you guys that try to actually make money, and some other people that cap these fights that see his character just isn't what you want to put your money on, okay? Now, he's been put in some dangerous submissions, and I can't believe he's never been submitted. Rosas Jr. could have submitted him. Dalgarian could have submitted him. Now, I went against him in his last 3. I'd go with him here and get screwed. So you know what? I'm just going to continue to go against Christian Rodriguez. I can't just switch the pick now. I'm going to continue to go against him. I don't think he's that great. I think he's always put in bad situations. I know he's very composed and calculated and can just get it done. But for some reason, Juicy J. Erosa seems like a pretty juicy underdog at plus 175. He has way more experience. He has way more finishing potential. When he loses, he gets finished. C-Rod has no finishing potential. He has a little bit of power in the hands, a clean box and technique. Is it enough to knock out Juicy J? I don't think so. I think Juicy J at 34 is aware of Christian Rodriguez and what he can do. He obviously seen those last 3 fights. He obviously can do some tape study. He can obviously prepare for this fight, keep his chin up, and maybe go for a knockout of his own. That's why I'd play this fight inside the distance for Juicy J. He had a flying knee to Nate Landwehr, so you can't say he's that bad. He beat Hakeem Dawodu, unanimous decision. I don't think Julian Erosa is that bad. I think Ricardo Ramos is pretty bad, and I think that win might get overlooked, overcredited, but a lot of people are going against Julian Erosa, so I don't know if people are giving him credit at all where it's deserved. I think Julian Erosa has been a veteran of the game. He's been a businessman for the company, and I think this is his fight to win. Right? As a dog, he's going to try to win this fight for his family, for his fans betting on him. He has the experience. He has the mindset to go out there and get this win. He's been training at Extreme Couture, another gym that a lot of us cappers love to support those fighters training there. They always have a great game plan and mindset when they're fighting. They always fight hard for your money. Now, training there, getting some good looks in, sparring, mindset, everything like that. Mental, physical. I think he's definitely going to be improving at 34, and I don't think he's going to get chinned. That's what it's going to come down to. Will Julian Erosa get chinned? I really don't think he will. And he's also going to have a 3-inch reach advantage to help him out as well. So he could come out here as a dog, get it done, and really upset everybody's pick on C-Rod. So I will ever so slightly, 51% take Juicy J. Like, I am super aware that C-Rod has beat 3 guys undefeated, is very composed, crisp boxer, but, you know, I just have a feeling he can't knock out Julian Erosa, and that's how Julian Erosa loses. So Juicy J might have to get a big submission win here. New father, you know. These new fathers in the UFC seem to get the win. Seem to get a finish win, get the bonus. So that is something to think about. When you're doing research, you gotta really look into their Instagram account, see what they're active doing, see what's going on in their life. Because if he just had a newborn baby at home, you know, he's going to be a lot more motivated. Being a father, trying to support for his family. I'm just going to be super excited if he can get this win. And it's going to be a good story too, right? He has motivation. He has a reason to fight. And he's going to show up. He is definitely showing up for this fight. Back-to-back fights that he's going to show up for and not get knocked out in. So, he's trained at Extreme Couture. Let's hope that was a good decision for him. I think it was. C-Rod, he's still training at the same old gym. Rufus Sports. I don't think that gym is going to be enough for him in the future. He's going to have to make a change. He's going to have to start training with some other guys if he wants to grow. At 145, he's just going to be given a test that's too tough. And a guy like Julian Erosa, with 29 wins and 11 losses, I think this is it. Erosa has way too much experience, and he can capitalize in those submission attempts. It might be a knockout. It might be a submission. We would obviously think it would be a submission looking at C-Rod and how he gets put in those dangerous submissions, but that flying knee for Julian Erosa against Nate Landwehr was crazy. It was impressive. And he has hands too. He's quick. And I think he could even stand on the feet and put it to Christian Rodriguez and prove that he's a better striker as well. Like, I think Julian Erosa could even be the better boxer. I'll go out on my limb and say Julian Erosa is going to look like the better boxer and grappler. He's going to be better on the ground. He's going to be better on the feet in this fight. I'm going out on a limb. Maybe this is the dog of the week. I got some options. I got some solid options. This could just be a pick for fun, right? 51% on a plus 170 underdog. I'm done talking about it. This is such an entertaining fight. I can't wait to watch it, so tune in Saturday and see how close my prediction was. I gave a couple different method of victories, so one of them is probably going to be correct. If it's Julian Erosa by a finish, or somehow a decision win that he just dominates Christian Rodriguez in, we'll be super happy. But if not, Christian is going to win a decision. He cannot get that knockout, in my opinion. There's no way. Even though Erosa's chin is glass, I don't think there's much of a chance of a knockout for Rodriguez. I know Erosa has been knocked out in his last two. He's a new father, and I would not bank on him getting knocked out in this fight. You've been warned. This underdog is live. We're on to the next fight on the main card, and it's Gabriel Bonfim and Ange Loosa, who bitched out in his last fight, and he got eye poked. He didn't want to continue against Brian Battle. He was getting it put on him. The smoke was getting blowing because Brian Battle was fucking beating him up. And after the fight, he wanted to beat him up even worse. Battle wanted to fucking take this guy's head off. In a fight that Ange Loosa almost got his head taken off in. He got taken down once. He got controlled for a minute. Now, Bonfim, his gas tank's bad. Really bad. He has to work on that. He has to work on his striking, too. His striking is not that good. You look at his wins. He has 3 knockouts and 12 submissions. He's one-dimensional. And I don't think he can get a knockout. He could, maybe. You never know. I think the chances of that would be slim. I'm thinking a submission. He has 8 submissions in the first, 3 in the second, 1 in the third. Now, Ange Loosa has only lost by a decision. He's not an easy guy to finish. So even if Bonfim has dominant positions in the first and second, what about the third round? If he doesn't get the finish, I'm worried. I am worried as hell. And I know this guy should not be this big of a favorite. It's a guy that everybody's going to pick. I have to pick him as well with high confidence, but we have to beware. He's not worth it for this price. He could drop the bag again. We just don't know enough about him. We don't know enough about his gas tank. I can't sit here and say, we can trust his gas tank. He's going to be fine. I'm not 100% sure about that. And that's just me being honest. I do like Gabriel Bonfim, the Bonfim brother idea, and them having success, but we just have not seen that. We've seen them get fraud checked, right? Ange Loosa isn't that bad. He lost 3 fights by a decision. He's tough. If he doesn't get submitted in that first round, this fight could get chippy. It could get sloppy. And I wouldn't want to be a part of it. I wouldn't want my money on it. I'll take a little sprinkle on the first round submission for Gabriel Bonfim, but other than that, there's not much you can do. I wouldn't advise you taking him at a 5-1 price, a 4-1 price tag. It's just not worth it. Ange Loosa, he's fought Jack Della Maddalena, lost a decision. He's fought Munir Lazez, lost a decision there. And Lazez got submitted in the very first round to Gabriel Bonfim. So based off some MMA math, Bonfim should clobber him in this fight based off that Lazez fight alone. But we can't just trust that, right? Ideally, looking at the odds, it should be a first round submission. Should be easy work. Should be the easiest pick on the card. If Ange Loosa can't beat Munir Lazez and Bonfim can submit him in the very first round, well, what's going to happen in this fight? Probably a first round submission as well. That's how I see it. Easy MMA math. And Reese McKee, who is Ange Loosa's last win, was coming back very hard in the third round, showing that Ange Loosa wasn't doing enough to put him out of there. He doesn't have fight-ending power. But we didn't think that about Dalby. Dalby's a decision dominator. Knocked Bonfim clean out. So let's just sit back, relax, enjoy. Hopefully trust in our Brazilian prospect, Gabriel Bonfim, to get that submission in the first. But I'm just saying, I'm just being honest. If he can't get that fucking win in the first round by submission, we're fucking going to be sweating. And we don't want our money on it after working hard all week. Just saying. Just because. And if you have not yet, smash that like button, suplex the subscribe button if you're new. We're going to keep going with the predictions for UFC Denver. We got Drew Dober next against Jean Silva. Just beat Charles Jourdain with an uppercut in the second round. Fucking a week and a day ago. And he's turning around, making 155 after missing 145. He weighed 147. Missed weight, had to be a catchweight fight. He gets the 155 weigh-in here against the tough Drew Dober. He's going to make a go-over. We're all thinking knockout. As soon as I said Drew Dober versus Jean Silva, we're thinking knockout. But who has Drew Dober knocked out? Let's pull it up here. He knocked out Ricky Glenn. Glass chin. Worse than Erosa. Way worse. And we just had some technical difficulties, so we're going to keep going here. He knocked out Bobby Green as well. Bobby Green has a pretty low striking stance with his hands down by his knees. Jean Silva should be a little bit more calculated with his striking defense. And he beat a guy that was 20-10. So, Drew Dober's last 3 wins, all knockouts, all against fighters that will have a worse striking defense than Jean Silva. Jean Silva will be more aggressive than those fighters as well, have a higher output, volume, and pace. And most importantly, have a better gas tank. Drew Dober, his gas, I mean, it's there, but he loves to get hit. His striking defense isn't the best. Renato Moicano managed to get the win 5 months ago. He didn't get knocked out. He survived. Got a unanimous decision win here. And I kind of think Jean Silva, although we just seen that big uppercut, although I know he can get that knockout against Dober, he's likely going to win a decision. All honesty, Dober was only knocked out once recently, and that was to Matt Frivola. If he doesn't get the knockout, which I think he has a higher chance to, than Drew Dober, I think he will win a decision. Drew Dober has fought a good slate of competition, from mid-competition to high-level competition. He's lost, he's learned, but he's 36, turning 36 here in a couple months. He's only 35 right now. The other side is younger, a lot younger, 8 years to be exact. He's hungry, he's a new face to the UFC, and I think he will keep the momentum moving forward and get the win here. It's a 50-50 fight. You can flip a coin if you want. You can trust in the Drew Dober power, but I don't see Jean Silva getting knocked out in this fight. He has 2 losses in his entire career, and both of them were in 2017, 2018, very early in his career, against guys that were pretty experienced for him at that point in his career. His third ever fight was against a guy that was 5-2. He lost that fight by split decision. The guy had 5 more fights than him, and he fought very close and competitive with him in his third ever fight in his career. He lost to a guy that was 3-0 in 2018. He's won every single fight since. He loves the knockout. He has 7 knockouts in the first round, 3 knockouts in the second round, and both submission wins are in the first. He's a very aggressive fighter. He likes to get that finish in the first round. He likes to get paid, just like the forecasters. How can you not love Jean Silva? Kind of like Diego Lopez. We're going to ride the Jean Silva train until the wheels fall off. I think this is a fight that he can ride the wheels off of Drew Dober, find the knockout shot. Drew Dober was only knocked out twice, but I still think he's chinny. I think he likes to get hit a little bit too much, and it might cost him in this fight. Jean Silva judging by that last fight 2 weeks ago, he has fight-ending power that could sleep Drew Dober. And now we got the co-main event fight, another medium confidence pick. I'm not overly confident. I'm not looking to invest in this one. I got Santiago Ponzinibbio winning this fight against Muslim Salikhov at 40 years old. And I know Santiago is 37. Can't be too confident in my pick here, but I'm going against the 40-year-old. He's 3 years older. He's slowing down worse. He looks like the fighter on the decline right now out of the two. Even though both have 1 win, 3 losses in their last 4, I think he's on the decline. I think he has not much left in the tank for 40 years old. Santiago should put a pace on him, get the win here. He won by knockout to Alex Morono. A decent win there. But before that, his 2 losses are what really impressed me. 2 split decision losses to 2 high-caliber guys. Michel Pereira, Jeff Neal, fought close in those fights. He fought close in the loss to Kevin Holland in his last fight. So the first 2 rounds, I'll give him credit. Before he got knocked out, he looked pretty good. Good enough to beat Muslim Salikhov, a fighter that I think is on the decline. A fighter that I think is slowing down and has not much left in the tank. He is the king of Kung Fu. He was a very good technical striker at one point. He's very, very accurate. But he's likely not going to get this one done. He's likely not going to be in the UFC too much longer. And I'm going to look to fade him in a co-main event spot that I don't think is set up for him to win. Muslim Salikhov at 40, I don't think they're pushing him to win. I think they want Ponzinibbio to get back in the win column. I could see them wanting to grow the market in Argentina. They need Santiago Ponzinibbio to get another win on the board here. So that's what I think the narrative is. Santiago Ponzinibbio, co-main event spot, gets the win, maybe by knockout. You'll have to join Patreon, $5 a month, to get exclusive early access to the method of victories, confidence levels, and forecasted percentage. So join Patreon right now. It's only $5 a month. That's 4 events, 3 events in 1 month, on top of all the sport bets, which are usually each and every day. So $5, get after it. And now we got the main event. We're going to try to get after it, get rich, or die trying. I got to go with the more experienced fighter. The girl that's still in her prime, some might think, some might not think. Rose Namajunas was a champion. She lost her belt by split decision, and her last loss to Manon Fiorot, she broke her hand. Still fought close and competitive. And then she went out there and beat Amanda Ribas. Looked very good, very dominant. I think she'll do the same in this fight with more experience in her back pocket. Tracy Cortez has been inactive. She definitely needs to be more active. She needs more fights under her belt. Her third last fight was to a girl that was 7-3 and beat her by a split decision. And that was almost fucking 3.5 years ago. She has not fought near the level of competition as Thug Rose, and that is why she is such a big favorite. I think stepping in short notice for Macy Berber wasn't the best choice for her. I know she's hungry for a big spot. She's already talking about the Sphere and fighting Alexa Grasso. Like, girl, you have a tough enough fight in front of you with Rose Namajunas. She should not be thinking about Alexa Grasso and the Sphere. I'm telling you, she's going to have a problem on Saturday night. Thug Rose is still in her prime. Still one of the best fighters. Okay? Just because she lost to Manon Fiorot and Carla Esparza by split, don't get sold that she's done. She's washed. Don't get sold on that narrative. I think Thug Rose is going to show up and prove she still has it. She still could be the champion of the division. She's one of the only girls that ever really got Weili Zhang's number. Beat her by head kick. Most dominant win I've ever seen. And then went back, beat her by a split decision to remain and still. I think she's due to go back for a title shot and maybe even get the belt back. She is definitely still one of the best strikers in the division. Arguably could still be one of the best fighters in the division. She broke her hand to Manon Fiorot. Don't ignore that. Don't be ignorant. So, let's be honest. Thug Rose should win this fight. She is going to be my pick. And it's going to be high confidence. Tracy Cortez is a great pick for any virgins, degenerates. But I'm not that. And that is my entire full card predictions for UFC Denver. If you want the method of victories, if you want early exclusive access, join Patreon, $5 a month. I'll be back Friday night, Thursday night possibly, and I'll give you the locks, the dogs, the forecast of the week. All what you got to do is comment your most confident prop at plus money. It has to be above the odds of plus 100 or above. You just give me your most confident prop. Make sure it's plus money, and I'll choose one forecaster. I'll make the content up. We'll get paid. I'll give the prop out to each and every forecaster on my next show. And I'll make a short video up on Instagram, TikTok, let everybody know what the forecast of the week is, the most confident prop for one of the forecasters. I'm always excited to see what Frank Bush has to say each and every week. He's one guy that comments each and every week. He is definitely one of the main forecasters, given his forecast of the week. I can't thank him enough, so shout out to Frank Bush. I can't wait to see who you are locking in and who you're looking to make some money on this week. Frank Bush is going to let me know along with some other forecasters. So if you're new, don't be shy. Say hello. Let me know your most confident prop at plus money. And if I don't pick you this week, maybe next week. Maybe the week after that. Because I'm going absolutely nowheres. And on Friday or Thursday night, I'll be back to do the props and parlay show. We're going to make up a live parlay. I'm going to give out the locks, the dogs, and the forecast of the week. We're going to have some more fun. And we're also going to look to make some more money. Because last week, the locks were hot and they hit very easy. The fight time for the 3 locks were under 7 minutes, under 5 minutes. Pereira, Pfeiffer, Talbot finished the fight very easily. All 3 of them. Plus money play on the locks. Paid out big. And this week I'm going to look to do it again. So go nowheres. Subscribe now. Like the video. I'll be back Thursday night, Friday night, whenever I can, to give you the locks. If you want the locks early, if you want to see the bet on the locks, how much I'm wagering, Patreon is only $5 a month. Discord is absolutely free to get in there. Great group chat of forecasters, and you can see the early access on the locks and the dogs and the forecast of the week. I give a little bit of early access on Discord. The momentum will continue and the bank accounts will go Rocky Mountain high. Let's go, forecasters. See you soon.
This is not over.